If you were not happy with the amount of money you paid in taxes last year, then you may want to consider some ways to reduce it before it is too late. As a licensed CPA, I have implemented tax strategies that have saved high income earners tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of dollars in taxes. And today I want to share some of those strategies with you for free. So go ahead and save and like this video, and let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so when I am trying to reduce taxes for a high income earner, the very first thing I look for are strategies that move the needle the most and require the least amount of effort. When you pay tens, hundreds, or even millions of dollars in taxes, you simply do not have time to chase strategies that are only going to save you a few $100 in taxes, especially when time is running out. If you only have time to do 3 things before the year ends, then we need to make sure that those 3 things actually have an impact and are realistic for you to implement based on your unique circumstances. So let's start with some very simple strategies, and then we will warm up into some more advanced tactics. We will start with strategy number 1, simply paying your estimated taxes. Now, this is a very simple thing that you can do to save thousands of dollars in taxes. The IRS collects over $5 billion in estimated tax penalties from high income earners every year, all because they do not pay their estimated taxes before the tax year actually ends. According to the IRS, any individual who expects to owe $1,000 or more in taxes when their return is filed is required to make estimated tax payments in the year prior to that return being filed. The IRS wants you to either A, pay 90% of the estimated tax you expect to pay this year, or B, pay 100% of the tax that you owed on your prior year tax return, which I find to be much simpler. But ultimately, if you do not do this, you can easily rack up several $1,000s in additional penalties, interest, and other fines, which is usually an unpleasant surprise for most people when they get that IRS notice in the mail. So before you consider additional tax strategies, do yourself a favor and make sure that you have already paid your estimated tax payments, which can easily be done right on the IRS's website. And I even have a separate video that walks you through those steps. So just comment estimated taxes if you want that video. Now let's move on to another simple but very effective strategy. And number 2, delaying or deferring your income. So income tax is based on your income. So if we can show less of it when we file our next tax return, we will pay less taxes. And one of the most traditional ways to reduce the taxable income on your return is through the use of tax deferred accounts like traditional 401ks, IRAs, HSAs, pensions, or other types of deferred compensation plans. When we defer our income into these types of accounts, it's like we're pushing income off of our tax return this year and choosing to pay tax on that income at some point in the future. For example, someone deferring up to $100,000 of their income into these types of accounts might save $37,000 in taxes if they are in a 37% tax bracket. So if you are a high income earner and you are not maxing out every tax deferred account available to you, then you may be missing out on opportunities to reduce your taxes this year. But some people may also have opportunities to delay their income as well. For example, I have clients who are expecting big checks to hit their accounts near the end of the year, and they have the ability to delay these deposits to the beginning of next year. For example, someone expecting $50,000 on December 31st might expect to pay $15,000 on that income if they deposit it this year. But if they just wait one day and deposit it on January 1st, they would effectively push the taxes on that income back by 1 year. And that's just one simple example of using timing differences to delay our income and our taxes. But some employers even offer deferred compensation plans or stock-based compensation plans that may allow you to achieve similar results. So look into those options as well if it applies to you. The bottom line here, though, is that if we have income that we do not want to pay tax on, then we might want to consider some ways to delay that income or defer that income to some point in the future. Generally speaking, if you have any of these options available to you, then you typically will want to max those accounts out in a way that reduces your taxes. Now let's move on from the basics to even bigger and better tax strategies like number 3, leveraging depreciation. So with the passing of the big beautiful bill, depreciation is undeniably the biggest tax strategy right now, especially with 100% bonus depreciation and Section 179. These two provisions effectively allow investors and business owners to write off up to 100% of tangible property like equipment, vehicles, machinery, real estate components, and even real estate improvements. So what a lot of high income individuals actually do to reduce their taxes is they just buy investment property like rental properties or equipment for a business, for example, which grants them huge depreciation deductions on their taxes while those investments go on to generate more income for them. For example, let's just pretend that we have an imaging service that does MRIs. Well, guess what? Without an actual MRI machine, we cannot offer that service. But if we go out and buy a $500,000 MRI machine, we might be able to use that device to generate income. And for tax purposes, the tax law may allow us to write off that entire $500,000 purchase on our taxes, even if we financed it. Or let's pretend we have a short-term rental property that we want to make some upgrades to. Maybe we want some new appliances, new countertops, or furniture that will cost us, let's say, about $30,000. Well, those are all items that may qualify for 100% depreciation, allowing us to deduct that entire $30,000 amount on our taxes while our property becomes more valuable. So if you are a landlord or a business owner, and I even see people become one for these tax benefits alone, think about purchases you can make that provide a dual benefit in the sense that it is a good investment and also reduces your taxes at the same time. As a licensed CPA, I have literally seen people generate millions of dollars in valid depreciation deductions, resulting in little to no income tax being owed on their taxes. So I'm here to tell you that this is 100% possible with the right approach. But that's not all you can do. A lot of high income earners also benefit from strategy number 4, energy investments. These are like secret gems in the tax code because a lot of people do not know that the government provides massive tax incentives for investors who make energy investments into things like oil, gas, and solar. For example, with qualified oil and gas investments, you can generally deduct up to 85% of your original investment as a loss on your tax return in the first year. And unlike most investments that are considered passive, oil and gas investments give you what is called a working interest, which means you can use those losses even if you participate passively to offset your W-2 income, business income, or other forms of earned income that you may have. So for example, if you invested $100,000 into a qualified company, you might be able to deduct $85,000 of that investment immediately, potentially saving you over $31,000 in taxes if you are in the 37% tax bracket, for example. The government incentivizes these types of investments because our society relies on oil and gas to function every day, and they want to increase domestic production and maintain sustainability. However, these investments are typically limited to accredited investors and do carry substantial risk, so be sure to do your research and consult your CPA or financial advisor before actually proceeding with something like this. Otherwise, you might be better off doing something less risky, like investing into strategy number 5, charitable giving structures. Now, this goes way beyond just writing a check to your favorite charity. We're talking about setting up your own giving structure to shelter your income away from taxes, just like the ultra rich do every year, and then giving some of those funds to your favorite charities at the timing of your choice. For example, let's say you normally give $10,000 per year to charities, and you're interested in putting some more of your income aside for charitable giving that you plan to do at some point in the future. So instead of giving the $10,000 to charities, let's say you first decide to move $100,000 into your own donor advised fund or private foundation that you control, which effectively functions like a charitable savings account. These structures allow you to direct those funds or remain in control of them while receiving larger charitable tax deductions. Then you could give the same $10,000 that you were planning to give to a charity of your choice, from that fund, but the only difference is that you just generated a $100,000 tax deduction instead of a $10,000 tax deduction. So on a very high level, you're parking some of your income into your own giving account, which grants you an upfront tax deduction for doing so. But generally speaking, those funds do have to go to charities or registered nonprofits at some point in the future. And there are several rules and limitations that you should know about before attempting to set up something like this. So be sure to consult your CPA or financial advisor for advice tailored to your unique situation. And if your CPA is not working with you year-round to help you keep your taxes down, then just apply to work with my team today at mycpacoach.com.